We know there are many choices in internet radio, and the staff and host of LA Talk Live would like to thank you for choosing the internet's hottest destination for the most eclectic sound and invigorating talk. This is LA Talk Live. We are more than just talk.
Hi, and welcome to Talk Up Your Biz. I'm Jean-Noel Bassior with my co-host.
Susan Levin.
We've got a great show planned for you today. We've got Chellie Campbell with us,
Yay, Chellie!
who we've both known for a long time. She's all over the place. She's featured in the LA Times and Woman's World and Good Housekeeping. She's the creator of the popular Financial Stress Reduction Workshop, and the author of The Wealthy Spirit and Zero to Zillionaire, two amazing books. And who else do we have?
Oh, we have Julian Stitick, who used to work for Nordstrom. She was the top person there, and she's an image consultant. And she even helped me today with my image.
I saw that.
I was so glad that she was here. Makeup!
Yeah, I don't recognize you. You're totally
right,
different.
I look different, right.
Yeah.
Right. We took off all the bad makeup.
Oh, yeah? So, you've pulled some...
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah. Every week we like to talk about what's going on, and we call it speaker news. But today I said to Gino, well, let's change it. Let's call it what's trending. I think that's very, very cool.
Yeah.
And so what's trending is I get an email from a friend of mine, a colleague named Elaine Wilkes, and she said, and she always is doing something for authors. And this time I was interested, not before, because it felt like too much work, but this was something that I knew authors wanted, and it was trending. And it's how to get into the public libraries virtually, how to do a virtual library tour. So I'm listening to what she's saying, and she's telling me that she has 130,000 libraries with the librarians' names, emails, and addresses to contact. And she goes on to tell me that she used her mother as an example. Her mother wrote a children's book. You had asked me that the other day, so now I have the answer. And they just went into the library and they said, would you like to host a virtual library tour for this book? And everybody except one person said yes. And what they're doing...
What's wrong with that one person?
I don't know. They probably didn't have the big screen there.
Oh.
So here's how it works. A couple librarians or libraries get together and they say, okay, we're going to do this virtual library tour. We're going to bring in a guest, and they use GoToMeeting or WebEx, or which is a webinar platform. So they're in their libraries, in their place. The author is in their home, sitting at their desk, and they're interviewing the author.
And these are the librarians interviewing.
Right. The people at each library are invited because the librarians or the library reaches out to them, and they're invited to come to the library, and they see the whole thing on the big screen.
So there's a live audience in the library.
Yeah, a live audience in the library who get to see this interview. It doesn't cost them anything, but it's and she also said that they like a lot of ebooks because they don't have that much shelf space. So ebooks are flying out the door. People are selling boatloads of books. So she developed a program with somebody else, and I've been through it, and I usually don't do anything, but I want to recommend this. And if you're interested, it's a big $27 for just one piece of what I told you that you could get. And this is where you go to http://everything genius, but you need a period between the I and the U in genius, and then 9KH. So it would be everything GENI period US/9KH. And I'm going to talk about that in my newsletter this week too, because I think it's a fabulous tip, and I put it out through social media and let people know about it because I think that it's very helpful and people are excited about it. That's why it's trending, because not that many people know about it. and it's a really good tip for authors.
Yeah, it is. I've spoken at libraries. Libraries are a great place to speak, and they pay. Some of them actually do pay.
When you go in person.
Yeah, when you go in person, right. Yeah.
But this is so cool because you could have people all over the country
Right, right.
who could see it as well because they video it as well and they give the replay.
Yeah, this sounds wonderful. And there's also a website, I don't remember the URL, but if you have a book that is in libraries, you can check every library in the world that it's in and see who's checking, if it's being checked out or not. You can
You
track.
mentioned that the other day.
Yeah, I've done that with my book. You can track your book that way.
Maybe you'll remember it next week.
Yeah.
Well, next week we're on vacation, but the week after,
right.
that would be really good because authors are always looking for where can they speak about their book.
Right.
And now that you know where you can do it, you're going to be able to contact locally. She says start locally first, and then you can reach out nationally.
Yeah, that's a great thing.
Yeah, so
is
I'm
that
very
27
excited.
for a year? Do you know, or is that
Forever.
Really?
Yeah, there's videos and audios and the list of libraries, which comes in an Excel format, which I've already downloaded.
Mm.
So we'll be able to help some of our authors who we coach too when we teach them about this, that is a possibility.
Right, right. Yeah.
And I think it's a good time to remind people because I heard you talking to Chellie about Harrow, help out a reporter, because people forget about it. I mean, it could be overwhelming. It comes 3 times a day, but the reporters are looking for people that they can interview. And if you have all your ducks lined up in a row and you have your media together, you could get interviewed. And didn't you say a former client of ours got a great...
Yeah, Justin Crane. He actually got a short feature, but with his photo in the Wall Street Journal. And I mean, this puts him on the map. This is like fabulous. Like people would pay if they had the money, they'd pay like tens of thousands of dollars for something like that. I mean, you can't buy it, but that's what it's really worth because it actually the Wall Street Journal did a story about how he helped a dentist make some really wise business decisions. And it was a great photo of Justin and everything. And it was like, it puts him on the map as like the, go-to consultant. It was amazing.
Yeah.
And it came through Harrow. I asked him, how did you get that? It came through a reporter that he had some interaction with 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And then the reporter reached out to him again for this feature. So
because he remembered him.
And I know when I was a reporter, that before things like Harrow, I mean, back in the dark ages, like I remember I was doing a story for First for Women, and it was on Can Friends Become Lovers? That was the title. So I had to look for couples who had been friends and then got married. So as a reporter in those days, I had to start asking around, like, who do you know? I started with my friends. That's how we used to do it back then, before these internet connections. And then one contact would lead to another and lead to another, and I actually found 3 great examples. But that's where you started back then.
Boy, things have changed so much.
Right.
So Harrow is Haro, and you can find it on the web. Help Out a Reporter, and you can subscribe to it and get these emails. And if you're not ready to respond, talk to us, jean-noel and me, because we can help you get ready. That's what we talk about, how to take your message to the media. And there's another class coming up. I think it's the 19th of August that we're collaborating now. I can say the name with Bob Baer, who works with authors, and we'll be doing a 4-part teleclass series. He's marketing it to his people, but our people can come too. So go to speakerservices.com in the next couple days if you're interested in that. You'll find the information there, or you can call me. My number is there, and so is my email. As everybody says, I'm everywhere. So let's talk a little bit about Facebook. Why authors need Facebook.
Right.
Why?
And the sort of the accepted wisdom right now, which is why this article is really good, because this is about marketing your book on Facebook, but most people believe that you really can't do that. One of the things that I've told people a lot is that when your book comes out, set up a Facebook fan page for the book, because it creates a sense of community around the book, and people can read the book, comment on it. It's like kind of gather around your book. It's like a mini salon for your book. Now, but of course the line between marketing, I mean, marketing is not really acceptable on Facebook, right?
Well, I mark
I
it.
know you break all those rules.
I think there's other people who break the rules too.
Yeah.
People use it that way, especially if you have a fan page or a business page. I
Hmm.
really do think it's acceptable. But Judy Collins wrote this article. She's very prolific. I have to get her onto the show and to the Book Beat show. And gives a lot of tips on how to sell your book using Facebook. She gives 10 Facebook marketing tips. And how do I get all this? I'm on the email list, or so I know, so I save these and I say, well, this is good to talk about because many of our speakers on speaker services are authors also. So we want to help people out. Even with Help Out a Reporter, by the way, you don't have to be an author. You can be a speaker and be quoted or, interviewed. So that's important to say that. So, she starts out by saying, share 2 tweets a day. You submit to Hootsuite that automatically goes to your Facebook page. Well, we talked about Hootsuite last week. It's an automated system where you can put your tweets in, and maybe every hour, every 2 hours, it will go out as you set it up. I don't use it. I do everything in the moment, so it
I
takes me
know.
a little bit longer.
You're your own Hootsuite.
On my own Hootsuite, right? Because I think about these things,
Yeah.
as they come up, and I
Right.
go, okay, it's time to do it.
Yeah.
I'm not that disciplined, but I do it.
Yeah, you do it. It's really amazing.
And I was telling, I think it was Julian and Chellie who were in the studio today, that with Twitter, you can use hashtags. So if you want, or it's the same thing like having a Facebook fan page. In Twitter, you put the hashtags. If you want authors to see your tips, you do hashtag authors, and all those people will see it because they're interested in that. Because Twitter is just out there. I mean, it goes by so fast. It's like a ticker tape on steroids.
Right.
And so what I've been doing recently, aside from hashtag speaking, authors, marketing, I saw one of our clients, Deborah Kagan, was doing hashtag grateful.
Hmm.
So I was telling Chellie the story, yeah, because about the affirmation. So I started doing hashtag grateful because I am so grateful. I am just so happy, with all the support that we're getting and the way everything is going for us and it. So I want to put it out there, and I think it helps to say that.
Interesting idea.
At this moment, I want to say that I'm grateful to Donna Jones,
Yeah.
who has been with us since almost since we started the both shows. And Donna's been helping us in the studio and also helping me in my home and staying with me. She's going back to Vancouver, and then where she comes from, unless somebody wants to marry her, she has to go back. Canadians are only allowed here for 6 months. But then she's going on to Sweden because she almost has a deal for a dummy book. Yeah, so we're
Yay.
very excited for her,
Yeah.
and we're holding that. So we're hashtag grateful Donna Jones. We love you. Yeah,
And that's
she's
on the
been
net forever, by the way.
great. Yeah. So what? So what are some of the other things that she says? She has 10 tips.
Well, she also says something that I tell fiction writers.
Mhm.
Or let me add a little bit.
Yeah.
She says share some scenes. Now,
Which
this
number is that?
That's number 3.
Okay.
She says share some scenes
Oh,
from
I like that.
and your main character's conflicts. And I would add to that, like if somebody, if because I'm a book coach, so if I coach somebody who's writing a novel, and well, when the book is finished, and one of the things they can do, and I tell them sort of to do this more for their website, but you can do the same thing on Facebook, is you take a really exciting scene from your book, short obviously, like let's say just a couple of paragraphs. The main thing is you got to cut it off at a cliffhanger, you see, and that
Yeah.
works really well on a website, but it can also work on your Facebook page, and it stimulates discussion about the book. It gives a sample of your writing out there, and it's tough to promote a novel. It's a little bit more challenging to promote a novel, I think, online than a nonfiction book.
Well, I think I came up with a clever way. I was telling you today about Goodreads because
yeah.
you had mentioned that. And
Yeah.
I don't know how I got onto Goodreads. Maybe somebody suggested it. And suddenly, I don't even know how the system works, jean-noel. I have 700 followers.
I know.
And all I wanted to do was say, Authors, we have an internet TV show, if you'd like to be on it. Meanwhile, we're booked through November, and I'm going, and I wrote on Facebook that it was raining authors, and that, we were getting so many visits, and I saw that Nez, our engineer, retweeted that as well. And it's true. We used to say that it was raining speakers, but now it's authors. I mean, we're going to be booking into the new year. They can't get rid
So
of
you got
us.
700 followers. You said that came through
Goodreads.
But Facebook linked them up somehow?
Yes, and because you could sign in through Twitter or Facebook, so they go and they find your Facebook people, because I went in through Facebook, who are on Goodreads. And so I thought, oh, I'm going to get rid of these all because I don't know how to do it. But then I said the good sense to put them in a folder in my email. And then this morning in the shower, it came to me.
Where you get your best ideas.
Where I get my ideas, right? It came to me that I could use the books that we have on the Book Beat and even on this show on Talk Up Your Biz to recommend, because that's what they want. They want to know what you have on your bookshelf. Mm-hmm. And I can, share my recommendations, mm-hmm. and that's going to help all of our colleagues and authors. And then what I'm going to do at the end is that I'm going to say, listen to this segment on LA Talk Live on the Book Beat or Talk Up Your Biz. And that's like a sneaky way of letting them know, or, like it's too salesy, you think?
No, but the thing that amazes me about you is, you see, like, when you press those buttons, like when it says click here to register through Facebook, you do it. Now I think about it and I go, like, let's see, if I click here and I register through Facebook, let's see now what's, what's going to happen. It's
but I almost called you yesterday because I was freaking out because I didn't even know what I was doing, when it happened.
Yeah.
But
you're very courageous that way with the web.
Not all the time. But yesterday, then I saw 800 followers, so I figure I'll get back to them.
Yeah. Okay.
One at a time, sometime, or my assistant will.
We'll keep track of that.
Okay, well, it looks like we're going to break now. We're hearing the music. And when we come back, we're going to be talking to Chellie Campbell, who is the author, as jean-noel mentioned, of The Wealthy Spirit and Zero to Zillionaire. And Chellie says money disorders getting you down. She says people love to give us money. So let's find out how people love to give us money. And we've known her a long time, and we're thrilled to have her on our show today. So we'll be back in a couple minutes. You're listening to Talk Up Your Biz with Susan Levin and jean-noel Bassiar. And we're only at latalklive.com, where we're more than just talk.
Hi, this is jean-noel Bassiar, inviting you to join me for my new show, The Book Beat, Monday evenings at 6:30 p.m. I'll be talking to authors about their latest book so you can find a fantastic read. But more than that, I'll be talking to experts about how you can write your own book and get it published. So tune in on Mondays at 6:30 p.m. exclusively on latalklive.com. And remember, you can catch us on iTunes Radio R&B or watch us on Ustream TV. Reality radio, handcrafted for your listening pleasure. This is LA Talk Live, and we are more than just talk.
Hey, shout us out. What's the count? I'm your host, Ferran Dozier. I'm inviting you to join me on WDC Radio every Monday at 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time as we discuss community topics around health, sports, and entertainment. So don't forget to shout us out. What's the count? On WDC Radio, only on latalklive.com. You can also catch us on iTunes Radio, R&B, or watch us on Ustream.tv. Reality radio, handcrafted for your listening pleasure. This is LA Talk Live, and we're more than just talk. What's the count?
Today is my day. Welcome back. You're with Talk Up Your Biz with Susan Levin and my co-host jean-noel Bassiar and our guest Chellie Campbell.
Hi.
Hi.
Hi, Chellie.
And she is the author of The Wealthy Spirit. Let's put your books up. And from zero to zillionaire. Mm-hmm. And I have both of these books. They're absolutely wonderful. And she teaches workshops. And as I said earlier, or teleclasses now, we were talking about it. Prop them up here, Chellie, so people can see it when we're talking. We can lean against here.
You can lean one against the mic.
Here, like this. Yeah.
That's good.
Okay. And we would, and you've been doing this for a long, long time. We met.
Oh, time marches on.
We met networking at a women's referral service, now Worthwhile Referral Service. And you had started even before I did, and I've been doing this 21 years. How many years are you into it?
27.
Oh, my God.
Oh, you win.
1986, I started with Worthwhile Referral Sources.
Wow.
And I love your attitude, the way that you speak about money, because people, like you always say, have spending bulimia, money dyslexia, and all kinds of things.
Spending anorexia.
Anorexia, right.
Yeah.
And they have so many issues around it. And you just turn it around and very practically tell them how they can be more positive about it.
Well, mostly people are complaining about it. Mostly people have, if you ask people in the beginning of my workshop, I always ask people, like, what are your thoughts about money? First of all, did anybody ever take a class on how to make or manage money when they were growing up?
No.
Very few.
Or credit cards.
Yeah. No, nobody teaches you any of this stuff. Most people say, well, they taught me how to write a check. Well, we don't even use checks anymore. Most of the time it's online banking or use your credit card number. And the problem is that when you're not taught it, you make it up. And you make it up from what you hear on the media, on the news, what you read in papers, and what your parents say. Well, most people's conversation about money is so negative. I don't have enough money. There's never enough money. All these bills. I'm in debt. What am I going to do? And now there's taxes, because people haven't been taught how to organize it all and to keep track. And so then it becomes this stress, and you're never getting enough, and you're never ahead enough. And all the financial planners say you have to have $1 billion or you can never retire.
That's so discouraging. And it's like, don't ever get a Starbucks, because you really should be putting that in your IRA.
Right. It's all about making sure you have enough money when you're 80. And you know what? I want to live my life now. I want to have a good time. And I say, even if you're on low budget, you have to have a category called spree. As in, go on a shopping spree and spend a little money. You have to be good to yourself along the way. That's part of what you make money for. And so if you become cheerful about money, and instead of going, money is the root of all evil, and, there's never enough, and all of that kind of stuff, if you start replacing that with mental images and phrases that people love to give me money.
Yes, you've always say that. And I know that when we were always out networking, you had a great little jingle, like a 30-second song or a 15-second
song.
Yeah. How does that go? No, so cute.
Well, at networking groups, you often introduce yourself, and you get 30 seconds to give yourself a little commercial.
And this is marketing, and people might hire you to speak, and she speaks all over the place and does PR and so on.
So I would go, you're going to be rich tomorrow if you take my class today. I'm Chellie Campbell, and I treat money disorders, spending bulimia, and income anorexia. I teach an 8-week workshop called Financial Stress Reduction. I'm the author of 2 books. So if you're living on peanut butter and jelly and would like to afford deli, call Chellie.
Yeah, very good. That's very clever without hitting people over the head.
And it makes it light, and they can laugh. Who laughs about about money. I mean, it's really doom and gloom out there most of the time. So I said, I want to cheer people up about money. Money is fun. When you get it, it's fun. But the corollary is that if you want to receive money with love and joy, you have to give money with love and joy. You have to spend it with love and joy. I'll never forget one time I was at a networking breakfast and this guy was really angry about taxes. It was tax season, and he was going, oh, I can't believe how much money and the government does terrible things with my money. They give it to all these welfare people who don't deserve it, and the military industrial complex and the politicians. He was just on a tear, and I just waited, because you can't interrupt somebody who's like mad. You have to wait till they kind of finish. So when he was done, I said, well, none of my money goes there. And he said, what? I said, well, my money doesn't go to those things. My tax dollars go to the roads I drive on and the welfare people who really need it just for a few months to get back on their feet. And the space program, I love the space program, and the libraries. And he goes, you don't know your money's going there. I said, well, you don't know your money's going those other places either, but I'm happy and you're not.
Oh, good.
That's the secret of life to me, is that we're supposed to enjoy it. We're supposed to be happy. Don't be doom and gloom. If money is a problem, and for a lot of people, especially in this down economy that is coming back up now, let's all be positive.
It is.
But it got hard for a while, and so people were dooming and glooming, and I said, you've just got to cheer up. You just have to see a better day is coming. And if you've got to worry about money, worry about it 1 hour a week. That's what I allow.
Put it in your calendar.
Yes, in your calendar. Friday morning at 10 o'clock, I can cry about my money. I can look at all my bills and weep and moan and pay what I can and write notes to people that I can't pay yet and say it's coming, but not yet. And then that's it. At the end of the hour at 11 o'clock, you have to stop. And the rest of the 167 hours in every week, you have to be going, I'm making money. Money is coming to me from expected and unexpected places. Right. And work on your marketing plan and work on your business and work at your job if you have one and work at getting a job if you don't have one, and start a business if you're an entrepreneur, or get your business cracking and reach out and post some more on Facebook or social media, or write a newsletter or write a book.
So in your book, The Wealthy Spirit, isn't it where you have an affirmation each day or a story?
Yeah, I wrote this book as a page a day for every day of the year. And I thought short sound bites, a little story with a little message, a little lesson, and a positive affirmation. So I started writing. I thought I was a genius with this idea, until I had about 100 of them written and realized I had 265 more to do. And then every night I went to bed and I prayed to God. I said, please send stories. And I would wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning with stories. It was so awesome.
That came to you. Or to you directly?
Yeah, I would remember them.
Oh, okay.
Or it would be an inspiration about a story I should write.
What's the theme for today as July 29th?
Today, oh gosh.
You remember? I was
no,
open your
she
book.
probably doesn't remember. Well, they're numbered because they're not done as particular days, so that somebody could start at any time. You don't have to wait till January. But it's on my blog at Chellie.com.
Yes, please.
I love the way I love the 3 categories that you divide people into. I love that. I've told people about that a lot.
Dolphins,
sharks. And tuna.
Because I was a tuna for so long. And maybe
I
still
was
am.
too.
Really?
I say I'm a tuna in recovery.
Oh, that's good. That's
Yeah,
good.
that's a good
So
way to
am I.
say it.
Yeah.
What does that mean?
Well, see, I was a wimp, basically. Okay, I was a sensitive person, and I was raised not to be aggressive or forward or brag about yourself, and I was finding myself in connection with a lot of angry or very aggressive or abrasive people, and I couldn't defend myself very well because my parents, if you got angry, you went to your room. You were sent to your room, and I couldn't tell this man who was my boss to go to his room. So I kind of needed help, and I read a book by Harvey Mackay called Swim with the Sharks Without Getting Eaten Alive. And I thought, that's what I need because I knew about sharky people. And then I thought, by the end of the book, I said, but why swim with sharks if you could swim with dolphins? I'd rather hang out with dolphins. They're friendly. They look like they're smiling, you know. They swim in schools. They communicate. They're really good.
They're family oriented.
Yeah, yeah. So I had that analogy going, but then I saw the world was filled with a lot of people that weren't quite great enough to be dolphins, but they weren't bad enough to be sharks. So what were they? They were the unknowing, the kind of people who were just plodding along, not taking much responsibility and being a victim, which was what I had been, which I called tuna.
I love it.
You know, tuna get eaten.
Right.
So I said, in terms of money, you can't make any money dealing with sharks because they want all the money for themselves. You can't make any money dealing with tuna because tuna don't have any money. Okay, let me give you that straight. Dolphins have money and they're good and they believe in win-win. So that if you're in business or just in life, you've got to be hanging out with dolphins. Now, somebody asked me once, a lot of people ask me this, well, what do you do if the shark is in your family? I said, you talk about the weather. Yeah. And what was the latest movie you saw? What about that TV show? Or
And don't swim too close to the shark in your family.
yeah,
You know.
would never share anything about your hopes, your dreams, or your plans.
Right,
Because
right.
they're going to shoot you down.
Exactly.
Right.
They're going to twist a knife in to your dream, and you can't allow it.
I like the idea of acting as if, and that's the way that I live my life.
Yeah.
You know, so people do love to give me money, and my bank account is always full. I just go into the online
Yeah.
banking, and I'm going like, oh well, there's not that much this week, but 2 weeks later, it's
I
more.
know. It just
I don't
magically
worry about it
appears.
anymore. Yeah, it's magical
Hmm.
when you stop worrying about it. It
I've
just
got to tell
comes.
you, there's something to that whole law of attraction thing, that what you focus on expands, you create your own reality. And the way I tell people about that is that if you are thinking more positively, you will see opportunities that you wouldn't see if you were thinking negatively.
Yeah.
And the only people who like complainers are other complainers. Okay?
We want to
So-
stay away from
Because you're
them.
raising yourself to a new frequency or a new vibration.
Yeah.
Right. And then those thoughts can come in, whereas they
Yes.
couldn't before. Maybe something like that. Right.
I'll tell you, one time I needed $800 for a tax bill that came in out of nowhere. And I went, okay, I'm just going to affirm this money is showing up from somewhere. Something is going to happen. And I'm not kidding. I just said money comes to me from expected and unexpected places. This is paid off. And 3 weeks later, I got a check from a bank. A real estate company had done a transaction. I had sold some people's property. And they had done an accounting and they discovered that I was owed money. This was from a deal from 2.5 years before. And enclosed was a check for $806.
It's funny about how the universe knows the timing, isn't it?
I know. Well, I called upon it too,
Yeah.
and I held the space for that
That's
to
right.
happen.
Yeah.
And that's a woo-woo magical thinking, but it's not just that. You have to also be taking action.
You have to ask for it.
You have to ask for it, and
Yeah.
you have to have things going on in the world that make these things happen. The people that just want to be woo-woo new agey about it and just say, oh, I'm making lots of money, and sit in their room, I just say, well, how many affirmations would you have to do in front of a piano before you could play it? It's sort of, there's a practical reality that we have to do too, to follow certain steps.
So if somebody is in a negative space, and I know that we're talking about principles that are very solid to us and everything, but if someone is in a negative space right now who happens to be listening about money, what would be your best advice? Just like the smallest step they could take.
The smallest step is to get some affirmations, and there are lots of them out there, prosperity affirmations. Start with 10, and every morning make yourself feel happy about something. Find something in your life that is good. You're grateful for your children, or you're grateful for the house you live in, or whatever.
Another subject besides money.
Something else. and just be in that happy, grateful space and say, I love my life. I'm grateful. Thank you, God, for all the glories that I have. Thank you for my life, my health, whatever.
I think we should add another hashtag if people are twittering. And I
Yes.
borrowed this from Nez, our wonderful engineer. He always says, I'm blessed.
Yes.
So how about hashtag blessed, right? Okay, along with the other one that I had said, grateful. That would be wonderful.
Yeah. And give $1 away to somebody.
Oh, that's a good
Take
idea.
$1 and give it away somewhere to somebody, a homeless person or somebody who just looks like they need it, or if somebody can't find the right change at the grocery store, pay it.
Yeah, pay it forward.
Just pay it forward,
Yeah.
and then you start feeling of yourself as somebody who has money that can pay it forward.
Right. So I want to remind people that you are a speaker, and you can be interviewed as well, and you've been on many shows and magazines, and you do go out and speak, and you used to speak through speaker services for quite some time.
Absolutely.
But you're in the big time now.
Oh, I know, and you helped me. You did too.
Yeah.
We're so proud of you.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah.
Well, I have a lot of credits on my resume now. And whenever people introduce me with that, I go, I used to listen to other people be introduced and they had all these credits and I was always so amazed and impressed. But now I just know it means you're old.
No, you made it happen. See, you became that sought after expert that we talk about.
Yay.
You really did. And
Thanks.
and you did it by exactly what you've been advising other people to do. I've seen you do that.
Yeah.
I've watched you do that.
Yeah, you just keep showing up and
Yeah.
you keep helping people from whatever your area of expertise is. You just try and share. And sometimes you're just giving it away for free. And people write me emails and say, I need help with this. And I help them as much as I can. And then I give them resources where they can go.
Yeah, I would definitely say that Chellie Campbell has found her life's work, or like I like to say,
yeah.
your SEVA,
That
S-E-V-A.
purpose.
Yeah, and she's also plays poker. We didn't even mention
Yeah.
that she's a poker player. Talk about doing
Ooh.
fun
And a good
things.
one too, right?
I got to
People
tell
love
you.
to give you money.
I do my poker affirmations, which I do not share. Yes. I've learned a lot about life and business from poker.
That's great correlation. Yeah, we're
Yeah.
gonna have to have you,
We'll have you back.
to talk about.
Oh,
that.
I'd love to talk about that.
Yeah, because talk about wanting to do fun things, and every once in a while I see, well, I'm going to be gone for a couple weeks with my girls. I'm playing poker.
Yeah.
And then I'm back teaching. So if you need to get a hold of Chellie, how can they do that? One more time, Chellie.
Chellie.com. Chellie is spelled Chellie. So it's my first name. Once you've got my name, you've got me forever. My email's Chellie@Chellie.com. How easy is that?
And she puts out a great email newsletter, lots of information and tips. And she has an 8-week teleclass series for financial stress reduction that I suggest that you take. Thank you, Chellie. We loved having
Thank you
on
so
the
much.
show.
Thank you, guys. It's
Yeah.
wonderful to be here.
So coming up, we have Julian Stitick.
Stitick.
And
We've been practicing. Stitick?
Stitick. Did
Yeah.
I say it right?
Yeah. We're going to get it right.
Okay. Thanks. And she is a top image consultant who has styled for the Oscars, for Nordstrom, and many other top companies. And she believes that all women are beautiful, and she wants them to recognize that and create an image that authentically expresses who they are. So stay tuned, and we'll have her join us in just a few minutes. This is Talk Up Your Biz on LA Talk Live.
Where we're more than just talk.
I know it's not too late. Gonna grow some love today. Planting a seed to build a world closer to heaven. Planting a seed in my soul. Yeah, I'm watching it grow. If you believe, then we'll make it together.
Hi, this is Elena inviting you to join me every Wednesday at noon for Elena's Beauty Talk and more, exclusively on LA Talk Live. You can also catch us on iTunes Radio, R&B, or watch us on Ustream.tv. Reality radio, handcrafted for your listening pleasure. This is LA Talk Live, and we are more than just talk.
Hi, this is Starlet Quarles, and I'm inviting you to join us every Wednesday from 5 to 6 p.m. for a new show right here on LA Talk Live, The Dialogue, Real Talk, Real People. Join us as we discuss the topics that are relevant to today's generational leaders. So don't forget to tune in to The Dialogue, Real Talk, Real People, every Wednesday from 5 to 6 p.m. right here on latalklive.com. You can also catch us on iTunes Radio R&B, Live 365, Radio Flag, and now Stitcher Radio. Or watch and listen directly at latalklive.com. Reality radio handcrafted for your listening pleasure. This is LA Talk Live, and we are more than just talk.
Today is my day, a brand new beginning.
Welcome back to Talk Up Your Biz, and we are here with Julian Stitick, and she is I got that right?
Yes, you did.
Okay, good. She's a top image consultant. You've done so many things, styled for the Oscars, for Nordstrom for a long time, right?
Yes, I have. Yeah, absolutely.
That's a very impressive credential, actually.
Thank you
styling
very
for
much.
Nordstrom.
Yes, it is.
And you say something I really love. Dress each day for the special occasion it is. And I love that. I think that's really inspiring,
Thank you.
actually.
Well, I have a story behind that, and I was at a conference. Actually, Susan was at that conference with me, and I do dress each day as if it's a special occasion because I think every day is a special occasion. And so at this conference, I was comfortable, but I was wearing a dress and I had a scarf on with it, and it was a Saturday, and this woman said to me, "Wow, you're so dressed up." And initially, I felt defensive initially, and I thought, no, you know what? And I said, yeah, I am, because today is a special occasion. She said, is it your birthday or something? And I said, no, you know what? Every day is a day to celebrate. And so I'm going to dress like it's that way.
But you were doing that long before that conference,
I
right?
was.
But that's such a good thing because, when people think of image consultants, sometimes we think well, that's phony, it's not really who we are. I get the sense that you like to get to the root of who somebody really is and then build the image around that. Or that's why I love dress, having a reason, to create an image.
Yes, absolutely. Well, the idea behind it is that each and every person is different. And while I do have a system that I teach, the authenticity comes from who that person is. And so no two people that I work with are the same because we all have different personalities. And when a woman, and I work with men as well, but primarily it's women, when a woman is really in alignment with her image, she's much more comfortable and she's owning it more. Often women will come to me after working with another image stylist and say, I never really felt like I was being myself because I felt like that stylist was trying to make me something that I wasn't.
That's interesting that you're saying that because as we're speaking about it, I flash back on a friend of mine who wasn't an image consultant, but she used to go to the thrift shops and then sell clothes. And I was not very fashionable at the time. Not that I am now, but I'm more aware. And she always would have me come over to her place and say, try this on. This looks fabulous on you. And I never felt right in the clothes. Never. Sorry, Loretta, she's on the other side now, but I never did. She tried to make me into something that I wasn't.
And sometimes they go like, well, we'll do your colors, and then you should wear, bright orange, if it doesn't feel right.
Right. Well, as it relates to color, because color is one of my hot buttons, when it comes to wardrobe, and that is just a piece of what I do, is image is so much more than just how we dress. But when it comes to wardrobe, oftentimes people come and they're overwhelmed. They're like, I don't know what works on me, I don't know what looks good. And so the system that I put into place, once we've really discovered for them what's important to them as far as how their image comes across, everything is about narrowing down their choices. And so that is one of the arenas that I help people narrow down the choices. And when a woman is dressing in color that's in alignment, naturally with her own natural hair color, if we can remember what that is, right? Natural hair color and eye color. Well, and it's beautiful on you.
Thank you.
And when we're dressing in alignment, they've actually done studies that we're more approachable. We're just more pleasant to look at.
Yeah.
So you just said image is more than just how we
It
look.
is.
How do you define image?
Wow. Image is what you reflect. It has to do with how you dress, but it also has to do with, are you vibrant? Are you taking care of yourself? Are you energetically the kind of person that people are attracted to because you're healthy, not only physically, but emotionally?
Sort of like what you radiate out to the world.
Exactly. Because we can put the most beautiful Prada suit on someone that's unhappy, and it's completely out of alignment. So it's what kind of energy goes out there. And my favorite saying is, the feelings follow the actions. And when we take the actions to put ourselves together to take care of ourselves, it's like Nike's Just Do It. We may not feel like exercising, but after we do,
Right.
we feel good. And then we want to continue doing that. So it's the same thing with eating right and getting plenty of sleep and drinking water and opening the doors to a wardrobe that everything works for you, because there's nothing worse than opening the doors to a closet full of clothes and going, what the heck am I going to wear?
I have nothing to wear.
And then we go after the same things over and over again.
Yeah.
And then it has to do with how you treat other people. Your image has to do with what kind of experience your customers or your readers or your audience has when they are experiencing you. And it has to do with their etiquette. All of the things like saying thank you. And I know that may seem so commonplace, but it's been forgotten.
So passé.
It is.
It's yeah.
It
true.
is. Yeah.
So when you work with people, if they don't see it on that level that you do,
Mm-hmm.
is part of your work to kind of, what do you do? I mean, how do you get them to see that?
Well, the deal is you give them what they want and they end up getting what they need. So when you go in, and the way that I work with my clients, especially with one-on-one, and primarily I'm speaking now, I'm not doing so many one-on-one consultations now, but it's people are interested in wanting to look good, but it's opening the doors to a wardrobe that's much bigger than that in how you're taking care of yourself and what kind of experience you're giving your clients. It's a much bigger picture of image.
I shop in my closet, and I really love it, and I do everything intuitively. It's like, what do I feel like today? And then I put this together or that together, or something that I never wore together, and I'm really happy with what I have. I have enough. I don't need to buy one more thing, but I might buy one more thing.
Well, you often call up and go like, I've been shopping in my closet.
Right.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
And that is such a great point, because so often people think, I need more, I need more, I need more. And my whole philosophy is less is better, because more overwhelms us.
Right.
And so when I do work with a client one-on-one, and as I teach with my systems about women going in and doing their own wardrobes themselves, that it's about getting it organized in a way that really helps them to be able to shop successfully within their closet and not get bored with the clothes that they have.
I was just thinking about, I'm flashing on this, our friend Lena Marquez, I don't know if you've been able to listen to the music, the Seeds that we've been playing. She's also a wonderful musician. She wrote the song. I gave her, well, the story is jean-noel gave me a fabulous scarf that is multicolored, and I loved it. And I wear it all the time, and it goes with lots of different colors. I then bought one for my housemate, a guy housemate who loves it and wears it all the time. And I gave another one to another girlfriend. And then I gave one to Lena because she always said that it looked great on, she loved it on me. Well, I've always wanted it as a scarf. Lena has shown up at our house in this scarf as a skirt with the most incredible tops on. And then the other day, and heels and, fancy shoes and stuff. And then the other day she said, you know what, I figured out how to make this into pantaloons. And she goes in the other room and does it and comes back and shows it to us. She's so creative.
I love that.
Yeah, she's an amazing person,
I
and she
love that.
collects clothes, but unique clothes. So it's so fun to see her doing things like
Yes,
that.
and she's stepping out of the box.
Oh,
You
totally.
know, that's
She is definitely out of the box.
and but that's such a great point because it is important to have another set of eyes, whether it's a friend or someone who's an expert in the field, because we tend to buy certain things for certain occasions, and
Yeah.
then mentally we put them in the box for that type of occasion.
That's right. I only wear this to a wedding.
Exactly.
Is there a
bar
way
mitzvah.
not to do that?
Absolutely. Well, gosh, you know what I would say? One of the things is to really look at the clothes that you're not wearing and ask yourself why. One of the highlights in my transformational style system is how to avoid purchasing clothes you never wear, because there's reasons. And so I've gone into all the psychology of what mistakes people are making that cause them to buy clothes that sit in their wardrobe.
Well, that's one of the mysteries of the universe.
Well, let me tell you, the average American woman spends 4% of her annual income on clothing. She also only wears 20% of the clothes in her closet. So, based on a $50,000 annual income, over the course of 5 years, she's going to waste $8,000 on clothes. And so what I've done is tried to really narrow things down so that you're investing in pieces that are really going to work for you year after year.
Makes a lot of
And
sense.
when you open the doors to your wardrobe and you have all these clothes that you don't wear, you feel bad about yourself.
So why does that happen though? Why does it look so fantastic in the dressing room in the store, and you love it, and then you get it home? Is there something like happens mysteriously in the trip home from the store to the?
Well, oftentimes it's things like putting on a pair of shoes. They put on a pair of shoes, and if a shoe is not completely comfortable the first time it goes on your foot,
don't buy
take
it.
off. None of this, it's going to stretch, it's going to wear in. No. Because if let's face it, that's probably the number one reason. If something is physically uncomfortable, we're not going to wear it. I mean, who's going to look at an item of clothing and say, oh, I'm going to wear that scratchy sweater today, right? Or I'm going to wear these uncomfortable shoes today.
So it's okay to give some things away then.
Oh, please do.
Yeah, my rule
absolutely.
is when you get something new, you give one thing
I
away.
think that's a great idea.
Yeah.
I think so too.
Yeah.
And then, some of the other things are people will, oh, but I only paid $10 for it. And I'm like, I don't care if you paid, I don't care. If you've wasted $10 on something because you thought it was a good deal, but is it really? So the question to ask yourself, is this something I feel great in? Because if you feel great in it, you're going to want to wear it. If you just feel it's okay, you're going to, who wants to wake up in the morning and say, oh, I think that'll look okay on me, so I think I'll wear that.
Wow. So you're doing exactly what this show is about. You're going out now. You're speaking to larger audiences,
Yes.
right? About what you do. What do you tell audiences? Like, what's the difference between, say, you're doing a private image consulting session with somebody,
Right.
and what do you do for these business? Is it business type audiences?
So there's I'm going to speak to the more business side, because I also have a kind of a transformational side too, which sometimes the two of those are blended. But with the image side, it's really about how this casual Friday approach has really gone by the wayside. Because the economy was as it was, and I agree wholeheartedly with Chellie, things are better. They are better. And if we have that attitude and move forward with that attitude, we're going to be successful. So this this idea about this casual Friday approach, which really was taken to the extreme, that we are back to dress for success. And the corporate and the fashion industry said, you know what, we've got to start dressing for success again. They're seeing the importance of this as it relates to the bottom line. People are more productive. They act more successful when they look successful. And so again, it's the feelings follow the actions. And so putting yourself together and really taking pride, because what does that speak to your clients or your audience? It's telling them that you care about them.
Right.
You matter to me.
You know, and hold that thought for 1 second. In all the years that we've had speaker services, I only had one complaint about a man. And the event planner said to me, this man came in with a shirt with stains all over it, and he was very overweight, and it was very unprofessional. So
it is, and you know, I just recently did a video. It's tips, it's image tips for speakers, because as you would imagine, I go to a lot of conferences, and while I'm not the kind of person that's going to be judgmental of other speakers, I use those speakers for my research. And I've learned things because I'm a speaker and I work with people on image about posture, about standing up straight, and the power that you can get through how the people, there's no idea about this 3 seconds to create a first impression or 10 seconds. It's instant. The moment somebody lays their eyes on you, they make a judgment about you. And when you have the ability through your appearance and how you take care of yourself and how you carry yourself to gain instant credibility with your audience and them knowing this person really cares about me.
body language.
Yes.
Yeah. What were you going to say about the business side?
On the business side, so it's this dressing for success as well as knowing customer experience. So teaching about, I've actually studied all of the companies that are top in customer experience, you know, your Starbucks and your Disney and your Four Seasons. And I've studied Nordstrom and all of those companies. And what I've done is create a curriculum based on the principles that all of those companies have in common. So that's as far as the customer experience goes. And then business etiquette. You know, writing thank you notes is incredibly powerful in this day and age.
I've been getting a few of them lately, handwritten notes.
Because a thank you in an email, it's nice, but you really don't have to go to too much effort to send someone an email. When someone actually picks out a card. So a fun tip is, you know, on a day when you got a little bit of time, find some great cards and just keep them. I don't know who it's going to, but I know it's going to go to somebody at some point when the time is right.
I like to do that. I like to buy cards ahead.
You do?
You know, yeah, I do, you know.
So let's find out how people can get a hold of you. And what are you holding up here, too?
This is my transformational style system. It's a 45-minute DVD and a 40-page full color. So it's basically a one-on-one consultation that someone can do in the privacy of their own home. And they can reach me at my website is americasimagexpert.com, and go to my boutique and they can check that out. We've got a downloadable version as well as a hard copy version of it.
So they get an hour with you?
No, this is the consultation here. What they can do is they can purchase extra time with me.
Okay.
That after they've gone through the program themselves,
it's a home study.
Then we can schedule extra time at additional cost so that I will walk them through maybe some of the questions that they have as a result of it.
Right, and you look fabulous.
Thank you.
The minute you walked in, I said to you, "Can I wear a dress like this?" You said, "Well, I have to look at your body." You know, because it's
That's
just,
right.
you look lovely.
Thank
and
you.
those are my favorite colors.
Thank
blues
you.
and blues.
Yes,
So we
yes.
got dressed together.
You're in your
today.
colors, especially
Yes,
your fun glasses.
Yes, oh, right. I
Love it.
forget about the red glasses.
Yeah.
But I do
That's
notice
a
the
big
way
statement.
that your image comes across is very bright and radiant.
Thank
as
you.
if you sort of know what lights you up, kind of.
You know, and I so appreciate you saying that. And this is really important. Let your light shine. Because I went to a women's conference not long ago, and as a speaker, I asked the question, how many of you feel like your light is not shining as bright as it is? Every single woman raised her hand, including me, because sometimes it's, you know, And I just figure the good Lord gave me a bright light and I'm going to go ahead and shine it. So I appreciate that. And I want to encourage everyone to do that because when we allow our light to shine, we make other people's days.
That's true.
Thank
And
you.
we're here to inspire, and you're really walking your talk.
Thank you.
Thank you to Julian Stitick for being on the show
Thank
today,
you.
to our other guest, Chellie Campbell, the Wealthy Spirit, and we really enjoyed talking to both of you. And stay tuned now for the book beat. It will be in 30 minutes, and we have some fantastic guests on that. And jean-noel is your host, and I'm the producer of both of these shows. Susan Levin signing out, and
Thank you for joining us today. And this is LA Talk Live, where we're more than just talk.
see you next time.
Closer to